Do you think immigration is as big a problem as it seems to be? And do you have any proposed comprehensive solutions to our immigration problems, or any that are already out there that you support?
Well, I think the United States has actually thrived in part, and it's more obvious during good economic times from diversity, from people that come into the United States that are willing to work hard, and in many cases get paid very little, and many businesses benefit from that. You know, if there's enough unemployment, we might want to look at the quotas that are allowed. Those hundreds of thousands of jobs are allowed to be, of immigrants are allowed to come into the United States, really millions per year. And I don't know that it's in excess of 1 million per year that actually are allowed to come into the United States. We may want to look at trimming that number down till we get our house in order financially and see that people are employed to the maximum extent possible. You know, I don't think the United States wants to be seen as an ogre in the international world, but I think we need to focus on ourselves somewhat. We need to focus on getting our own people employed in as much as they will be employed.
If I can follow up on that just briefly, you touched on the economic part of that. Do you have concerns that it is from a national security perspective, and what efforts would you support if you do think it's a national security issue? What do you support to address that?
Well, I think when immigration takes place, the background of individuals is looked at somewhat, and there are laws that allow for that. You know, provided that there's not a great disdain and you know, threat to the United States, I'm not sure I have a problem from a national security perspective of people being able to immigrate to the United States. If those precautions are taken, I see that's an issue. And I may not know as much about this as you do or other people do.
No, and I should have been more specific, I guess. My concern is, or the question relates to the concern of illegal immigration, not so much our legal immigration policies as what do we do about folks crossing the border, coming into our country that we seem to have little control over.
Well, you know, I'll say this: the prospect of building a fence on the border between us and Mexico would be an incredibly huge and costly, unbelievably costly public works project. It would employ many people in the process. But I would rather us see, if we're going to try to tighten those borders, use unmanned air vehicles, you know, drones and they could do that quite well and much less cost.